I did a documentary called Hannah's Prayer List about 3 or 4 years ago. I hope you guys watched. It was very popular. It blessed a lot of people. If you haven't seen it, go to my YouTube, put Hannah's Prayer List testimony. And in there, I explain that growing up in the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s, having grandchildren wasn't a big miracle. And I know how harsh that might sound, but it was true. See, back then, you would get a daughter-in-law, and about a year, a little bit over a year, you'd have a grandbaby. Within maybe 4 years, you'll have 3 grandbabies. In 5 years, maybe 4 grandbabies. And the kids grow up, and at 2 years old, 3 years old, you give them a devil dog and a soda the way I did. We slept on the floor, we slept on the couch, and they really wouldn't pay attention. They would make them a nice birthday party, but the birthday party would wind up being a drinking party where your friends and your family enjoyed. The kid would sit in the corner with a toy, and when they got older, 12, 13, maybe 15 years old, for a girl, they get her a hairdryer and a pair of shoes and a little purse. For the son, they get him a car. There wasn't the main attraction. You had grandbabies, you had children, and, you raised them and you loved them and you give them to feed them and stuff like that, but there wasn't on your mind constantly. Not so much today. I guess I'll call it the past 15 years. If you get a daughter-in-law and with the first year, there's no good news, get a little bit worried. You get a little bit afraid. When it gets into the second year, now you're just total heart failure. Your heart cries. And probably the worst thing, and I'll give this advice to everyone out there, the worst thing you could do to a in-laws or friends of yours who got a booty about a year or two ago is say, any grandbabies yet? Because then you have to give the superficial, we ain't worried about it, God's timing is perfect. And as much as you believe it, it still hurts. It's a terrible question, because believe me, when they're going to have a baby or get the good news, you'll know about it. You don't have to ask. So after the second year, you start going to doctors and you start hearing stuff about your son, your booty, and stuff that you really don't want to talk about. But at this point, that has to go out the window. You're not worried about all of that. You're worried about having a family for your children. So you go to doctors and do tests and stuff that it's uncomfortable. But at that time, you have to become numb. You got to start thinking about how, getting your family a family. And then, of course, Christmas comes along, and, children's birthdays come along. And there's a lot of heartache, if you guys watch the documentary that I made, that goes along with your kids not having kids at the moment. Then, of course, there's the Hannah's Prayer List. As much as it is a blessing, it's also something that, new in-laws are scared of. Nobody wants to hear their kids on the Hannah's Prayer List. But in the end result is you're happy there is a place that people can pray for your children, and you have hope in God that one day they'll have kids. And then they do. You get the great news, and you do, a beautiful party, and you let everybody know it's all good. You still got some time before the baby is born. So you still got that fear. There's still a fear, because even that is something that, I won't even go there. Like I said earlier, when we were younger, we grew up on devil dogs and Pepsi and Coke and potato chips. Nowadays, we're talking about gluten-free, organic. We have to watch what foods they eat, which kind of medicine they take. Don't mix this particular medicine with this particular medicine. It's a whole different world. Nowadays, you watch the baby's face. You watch their eyes. You watch their response for the first couple of years. Can they walk? Can they talk? To get their attention. There's a million different things that you have to check now for the past 15, I guess I'll call it. I'll even call it 20 if you want, to see is everything okay. So the first 3 years of the baby being born, your brain is still not settled until you see the baby is 100% okay in every way. Thank you, Jesus. There's a prayer list for children who are autistic that we're praying a lot of the children are getting better, and I give God the glory. The point of this particular story is this. I know that Instagram has been really upset with people posting their grandbabies before they're born or right after they're born, or or any kind of sort of disrespectful thing that a parent, a daughter-in-law, or a new baby shouldn't do. But you have to understand something. I'm on the fence with this. I totally understand and I agree with Gomsam, Lajav, and stuff like this shouldn't be seen and keep it secret. But this is 1970, where it wasn't a big deal. Like I just said, I'm talking through experience with my Vinny and my Jackie. For 5 years, we didn't have grandbabies. So when we got the good news, we jumped for joy, And this is why today they're sort of crossing lines in Romania, doing gender reveal parties and, taking pictures when it's not time to take pictures. And a lot of people take pictures beforehand, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But see, the thing is this. When it's God's miracle, you can't contain it. We're still praying for my Vinny and Jackie to have a boy. My Emma, I think, is 4, maybe 5 years old, and we're still praying that we get the good news. And when we do, I'll tell you now, you better run. Block me, unfollow me, where it is, because we're going to be so ecstatic, so happy to see God's miracle in our lives, knowing that we're in a hard situation, and then God steps in and gives my Vinny a boy, and you're offended by it. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. I couldn't care less if you're offended by my post. We want to show the miracle that God did for and give hope to all of these people. Because right now, at the time growing up, there was 1 out of 1,000 couples that didn't have children. You barely even heard about it. Now there's 300-400 couples on a Hannah's prayer list. And please forgive me for saying this, but there's more adding every day. But people are coming off of it too, thank you, Jesus. Because we get together and pray for the Hannah prayer list, miracles are being happen. So you can't help but contain, God's joy when things happen. You talk about the old ways, the Sokonra, Manala Jav. Well, here's the deal. You can't go and bring your Papa Mummy's ways on Instagram. You know why? Your Papa Mummy would not be on Instagram. Das caras te love, and you expose your money, you expose your jewelry, your cars, where you live, how you live, your vacations, that it can't say gaje. So caras, no, sir, you would get your butt whipped. Your mommy and papa would never be on Instagram. So you can't bring their rules on Instagram because you can't show the gaje around that situblove. Nowadays, it all goes. Everybody knows everything about your life. So the love situt, what jewelry you bought, I'm not talking bad about it. But the thing is that if you're trying to bring mommy and papa's old Sokonra and old ways to Instagram, sorry, because they wouldn't be on here. As soon as you sign into Instagram, you took the old Sokonra ways and threw them away. You can still live it. You can run your Instagram the way you want. Don't expect everyone else to sort of apply to the Ohomane rules when Instagram goes outside completely the Ohomane rules. See, here's the deal. As we all know, there's a story about a woman with an issue of blood. That woman was considered unclean. And honestly, if she was caught outside of her house the way she came out, she could have been stoned to death. But see, there gets a point in a person's life when they don't care anymore. She knew she had to get to Jesus. She knew she wanted her healing. So she took the chance. Manasa Kalajav, she ran out and she said, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, she would be healed. And she was right. And when Jesus asked who it was, she said it was her. Nowadays, having grandbabies ain't that easy. It's not the way it was. Get a daughter-in-law, a year and a half, 2 years, you have a couple grandbabies, put them in a corner, give them a double dog and a soda, watch TV, and it's all good. Different world today, guys. Different world. And I'm telling you now, when we get our miracle with my Vinny and Jackie, I'm going to be posting pictures so much. I'm going to be jumping for joy. Whatever picture I put up, if you're offended by it, I'm sorry. Not much I can do about it. You still want the old ways, you want those corner down, you're upset with people because my job, whatever. As soon as you got on Instagram, you broke every rule. You broke them all. You're lying in bed without your shirt before you wash your face and you're talking to 15 to 2,000 people? They would kill you. What would your mommy do to you if she's seen a 6-inch red stiletto shoe on you? I'm talking to the women. What would she do if she saw a Louboutin back in 1970, 1960? She'd whoop your behind. I know I keep saying that, but that's best I can do right now. Grandma's wearing pants. We got men showing women's shoes. Big red bottoms, and this is not putting anyone down. Please understand me. That you can't pick what rules you want and say it's okay to put up this, but you can't put up that. Everyone has their own Instagram. You can unfollow, you can block. This one is talking about having a family for your family. And whatever it takes, whatever Lajav has to go out the window, whatever the doctors say, whatever prayer we got to pray. And when we get our miracle, we want to jump for joy, and we're going to put up pictures, guys. Simple as that. So I'm praying that it will be soon, and I'm praying that for everyone on Hannah's prayer list, we'll be able to put up pictures as soon as the babies are born, for God's glory. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's stories. We'll do too. Until next week, God bless.